showcasing the work that's being done because there's been a lot of work, especially in the last 3 years, maybe 4 years, because of the amount of funding that they've received.
Yeah, especially when there's a lot of need of road infrastructure improvements, and yeah, the community can actually see that that's super beneficial.
Did I miss anything? You want to add anything?
I mean, I think you covered it pretty well. I mean, the you're talking about sidewalks, drainage, all that stuff. I mean, our practice has been to kind of do, I mean, some of it has to be addressed when you're doing a road project. And, you know, I've said many times, I mean, nothing that was built in Clear Lake was done right the first time. And so that makes it more challenging. But the primary goal is more asphalt. And sometimes that means, I mean, we've spent very little Measure B money on sidewalks anywhere, but we have done drainage work. There's some areas where we do like a concrete curb or something to protect the edge of the asphalt, which will make it last a lot longer.
Roll curves,
Yeah.
gutters.
And the focus of the council and the current Measure B plan is to just prioritize existing public roads. You know, there's so much work that needs to be done on the public road network that we have actively tried to incorporate private roads into the public network. There's only been one small section that was requested by the community that the city council did accept, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. At some point, you know, my personal hope is that we make enough progress on the public roads that we will more actively pull, because I mean, we have essentially 110 miles of roads, 80 miles of them are public, 30 miles are private still. There's quite a large amount.
And some, in my opinion, rightfully so, and some makes absolutely no sense. And I think Buckeye is a perfect example of that, where off of Olympic, it's public, for like 1 or 2 blocks, it's private, and then it becomes public again, and that makes no sense where it's a part of the entire infrastructure.
In a normal city, the only time that roads are private is largely because there's a homeowners association that's established to take care of those streets. Unfortunately, this all happened before the city even existed. The county was offered the roads.
Yes.
It was also before Bruno's time, so we can't blame him on this one, but the county was offered the roads for public maintenance and rejected that, and that just means no one's taking care of them basically unless you do it because it's your street. So
Good.
Yeah.
Brett, anything?
No.
All right. Anything else before we move on to item number 3? All right, item number 3, review of the fiscal year 24-25 Measure V revenue and expenditure report.
Hi, good afternoon, Measure V Committee. Matt Press, the acting finance director for the city of Clear Lake.
Matt, I'm going to interrupt you.
You'll see
Matt, I'm going to interrupt you.
4-page budget report. Yes, please.
You're kind of breaking in and out. Wondering
How's
if
the
maybe turning off your video might be helpful. I don't know. It's not that I don't want to see you.
Okay, is that sound a little better, or is it still breaking up?
So far, so good. Let's hope it holds up.
All right. Thank you. So in your packet is a 4-page report, and if you want to pull that out, I'll walk through it.
It's possible for some of you to.
I agree.
Thank you.
Me to put it up, but
Please.
Would you like me to share my screen, or I guess that probably
Edit.
isn't as best. There we go. Okay, so at the top there, the first few lines are related to revenue. On the left side, you'll see fund number 220, which is our Measure V fund. And the first row, it says sales tax Measure V. We budgeted 2.6 million, and in the fiscal activity column, the third from the right column, it shows 2.5 million. So we're a little under what we projected, but still, a healthy amount of funding for the streets. We do account for the next row, the RSTP, which is state transportation funding. We do include that in this fund. It's all related to streets. And the third line, interest income, we did earn interest. We've invested that and get a return on investment of any cash until we spend it. So that was almost 20,000. So a total of 3 million, which is over our budget of 2.6 million in total. So that's good. The next section is called expense, and we have a number of salary related, personnel related costs that are for basically city staff that work on maintaining our streets or reconstruction. And then toward the bottom, you'll see there's contract services, and then we have our principal and interest. Interest paid 396,000, principal 1 million. So the total of that is about 1.5 million. We issued essentially bonds for about 14.7.8 million, and that was an infusion. We got a great interest rate of 3.2% per year, which is essentially you could say it's equivalent to inflation. So we're able to infuse and do a lot of the projects which Addie will talk about in a little bit. So total expenses just dropping to that expense line, 2.4 million is the cost of the Measure V fund. We do have another fund, which I'll just transition right below, 221 Measure V loan fund, and that's where we track the a little bit of income, but mainly the expenses, which I'll transition down to. So the expenses, this is where the money we borrowed, the 14.7 million, is being spent. And you'll see the various categories of consulting services, design services, and moving down to the next page, we have construction services, which is the biggest, for a total of 11.377 million. So that is where most of the bond money has been spent, and so forth. So that gives you a good picture as far as the projects. Really, the program numbers built in the account numbers are drive which projects those are, and Addie can describe them. I have them in another worksheet that talks about each of the different programs, but I'll leave that for Addie to talk about the specific projects she spent it on. But that get from an accounting standpoint and a finance standpoint, that gives you an overview of what was collected and what we've spent for the year. On page, if you want to just scroll down, page 3 gives you a nice summary that you could probably hold. And just so we had, again, the two funds where we account for the revenue and the two funds where we account for the expenses. And so we had 10.9 million, essentially 11.4377 million of expenditures, as I mentioned. And again, that is from the bond proceeds. So that kind of concludes my kind of overview of that report, and I'll turn it over to Addie if she has any other comments regarding this. Thank you.
So looking at all the Fund 221 expenses, there were different projects we had. We had the Tree Streets project, we had Ballpark project, we had Clear Lake Park. Were those the three? Those are the three projects, and those were roughly 20 miles.
Striping was on.
Striping, oh, so yeah, the striping went from the RSTP funds, we spent over 400 grand on. And I want, let's see, I just want to get a quick number. We have one project that is not completely done yet, and that's Clear Lake Park, and that's due to, we're waiting on the water company to lower some of their water lines so that we can finish the project, and we have roughly 900,000 left to spend. So it looks like we didn't spend it all, but we still have some money left to spend to finish the paving. Hopefully, so in the next month or so, we're gonna have that done. So those were the projects we spent the money on over the past year.
So is that about a mile's worth of roads for the $900,000?
Close.
Okay,
Close.
sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, anybody have any questions?
Any questions? So Alan, I had submitted to you at the very last minute some questions.
Thank you.
At least I gave you a heads up.
Acknowledging that.
And I know one of them was explained. I wanted to make sure our STP was explained as state funding that is received for that. There was another one in the, I know it's not really our deal, but just since it's on there, it's in the loan, it says other income. What other income did you receive other than the interest?
I think it was just interest, right, Matt? I'll have to go look at that one again.
Because I know it has a specific line that says other income and then interest income.
Yeah, in Fund 221, there was some other, I'll look at that real quick, offhand. Okay, so,
There's other income and interest income, and the other income was 297,000. So significant enough to ask the question.
yeah, give me a second. I'll look that up, and you can maybe jump to the next question.
Well, that was actually received. If it's on there, I was thinking it might be the utility payments, but obviously we haven't received the biggest part of that.
We have from Golden State.
Well, they didn't pay 300,000, did they?
No.
Are you looking it up, Matt? Or?
Yeah, yeah, look, the report, I just ran expenditures for 221, so I need to run the revenue, so I'll look that up real quick.
That is just one thing that, so what we do with utilities, it's not, our taxpayers' responsibility to make changes to the utility systems that aren't owned by the city. So when we do a project, the most common thing is that we have our contractor raise or lower the height of manholes and meter boxes and stuff that are in the road. And then we track that separately. The water company or county special districts, which operates the sewer system, reimburses us for those costs. So that's something that we spend and then comes back in, but I'm not sure if that's the.
It's up there. That might be it.
So I guess
I'm sure it is.
if that is
120.
if that is a 297, why is that going back in the loan fund versus the Measure V fund, since Measure V fund is what pays off the loan?
Well, I mean,
Just
it's
that-
just the fund where all the construction projects are paid out of
Oh.
from the loan fund. I mean, I suppose you could put in Measure B. I mean, it's still gonna go. I mean, we've just been putting it back in there, so
how
it
we
goes
track
to
it.
more construction, you know? I mean, I guess we could put it in Measure B and then buy a new piece of equipment with it or something, but our goal is to get more asphalt.
Okay.
And just for a little more clarification, all of that money that we spend out of this 221 fund, there's not just road construction. We also have to have an archaeologist come on site and give us an archaeological report to determine whether we need, if there's cultural resources or not tribal monitoring needed. We have land and for tribal monitoring and design as well. So all of those things factor into the cost of a road project. Just wanted to let you know what extra expenses there were.
Often, I mean, what is their average 15%?
15% for design. I don't know, did we have, I don't think we had any trouble monitoring on this one,
None of
this
them.
round, but definitely archaeological work done to determine whether there's cultural resources that would justify or not justify having trouble monitor on board.
I did have a quick question. I think I figured it out. But the whole column titled period activity, is that just for June?
Yes.
Because that number makes no sense to me as to why it belongs there.
Yes,
Okay.
these are the default terms. I agree. It's not crystal clear.
Yeah, my calculations were getting all
Thanks for asking.
haywire. Okay. I will ignore.
Did you figure out the 300,000, man?
Yeah, so the other income in Fund 221, the 300,000, 297, it has a number of entries related to tree street water line removal. I assume these are reimbursements. Well, there's some in and out. Let's see here. LC Special Districts for South Ballpark Road rehab project. So I assume that's some other funding, not Measure V funding.
Reimbursement.
So it's basically what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think those were my only questions. Oh, I did have another question of beginning and ending balance, because you're showing us what you
Right.
made for the year.
It's not on this report. I mean, we could give you a different report.
And so what is our current balance as of July
Sure.
1st for Measure
That
B?
I did run. So for Measure V, total is 3 million. So in the first fund 220, it's 1.3 million. And for the Measure V loan fund, there's just 1.78 million, almost 1.8 million left. So a total of 3 million, just over 3 million.
Okay, and
between
you
the two.
said $900,000 of that will be used to finish up the tree streets, so that'll leave about $800,000 in the loan.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Okay.
You asked about the historical
Oh, thank you.
revenue. So this is going back to, I guess there's one more year before this that we would receive money, but so it's been down a little bit. It's consistent with our sales tax receipts over the last few years. The projection when Measure B was passed by the voters was 1.7 million a year, so we're significantly above that, which is good. But obviously, we've had a few bumps in the economy last few years, but it hasn't kept growing.
No, but we're higher than where we started.
Still pretty good.
And I don't think you want to see the 16, 17, because I think as of April 2017 is when you started collecting, if I remember correctly. So that's only like 2 months. Yeah.
Oh, I don't have gas tax.
Yeah, let's not talk about what that is. I think those were the majority of my questions. There
So
were
the one you were asking about miles of asphalt and miles of.
I was going to talk about that during our resolution, just because I thought that would fit during that time frame. Because I would recommend I'll give my recommendation when we get there. Are there any further questions about the budget? All right. Thank you for the breakdown. We're going to move on to the adoption of the resolution and any public comment on the budget. I don't think we have any public member online either. Adoption of the resolution number OC 2025-01, a resolution of Measure V Oversight Committee of the City of Clear Lake declaring compliance with Section 3-7.14 of Ordinance number 189-2016. And the resolution is in the packet, basically saying that we reviewed the budget and that we think that the money was used appropriately for what the voters voted on. Are there any comments to be made or anything that we would like to change on the resolution to the council?
No.
So going with what you were talking about, advertising, when you look at the original ordinance that was passed, it talks about the 49 miles of dirt road and 63 miles of asphalt, and that's changed. And I would like to advise the council to update that, because we are heading towards eventually a 2026 deadline, where the council has to make a decision, right? Oh, wait, no, 2036.
Yeah.
Well, they need to do better, in my opinion, of advertising slowly and surely, and maybe every 5 years. But you guys have added asphalt. You did some streets in the park, such as Ridge, Hill, and whatever other street I can't think of that used to be all dirt. I don't believe they ever had asphalt before, so I don't think they were counted.
East Lake.
East Lake extension. And so if it was asphalt, it would be nice to get an update to see how Measure V has impacted from where we started in 2016 to where we are. And I think adding a third one of double chip seal, because you've helped change some of the roads in the avenues, you've helped change some of the roads behind foods, etc., and you've slowly expanded on that. I think you might have 16 miles, if I remember the contracts correctly, for double chip seal. But I think that the whole reason for this was to enhance and upgrade your road infrastructure. And by being faced with something from 2016, which also gives a 38 PCI, to show where you are in 2025 is also a good report card to put out to the public to show where we are, what's been done, what's upgraded.
Are you saying that because that's what's still on our website?
Well, no, it's what's in the packet because it's what we're basing everything off of. But it would be nice to kind of get a Measure V update saying, here's where we started. 63 miles of asphalt, 49 miles of unpaved, and a PCI of 38. As of 10 years later, 2025, here's where we are with the paved roads. We've added a mile, I don't know, 2 miles. And we've taken away from the dirt roads and turned them into double chip seal roads. And I just think that that would be good. Plus the PCI upgrade. That would be my addition of the city council is provide a 10-year report card to the community so that we can really use that as a measuring stick for our midpoint in measuring.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, we've tried to communicate the progress more over the last few years, but you know, we can always do more. I mean, I just printed out some of the pages real quick after you sent the questions of our last pavement management program update. So I don't have it on the slides, but you can see this is the PCI, which is 0 to 100, 100 being perfect. How we have seen, this is 2022 right here. So it's up to 51 in 2022. Which, you know, still is middle of the road, but increase. And this is a nice little chart that I always like looking at, which compares our PCI to Lakeport and the county. You know, which we're looking pretty good. But then the final thing I would want to say is we have a tool that we're really excited about that's going to make that a lot easier and a lot sexier too. So we actually pushed this idea, but Lakeport and your current interim public works director also jumped on board. So we're all doing using a tool that uses AI to assess our road networks. And so we're in the process of taking video of all of our streets. It's analyzed by AI, and it is pretty amazing how we can analyze that and better plan for the future. And it does a great job of identifying, you know, recommended treatments for all these, every 10-foot segment of everything in our street network. So I'm hoping sometime this winter, once we get that all initially in the system. So we'll be doing that video. So right now we hire an engineering firm like every 3 years that goes out and does this thing, but we'll be able to do it at least annually. And then as soon as we do a road project, we can go out and video that, and it'll give us an updated PCI index.
Awesome.
So it's going to be pretty neat. Or hopefully this winter sometime we'll get a presentation to the city council once we have the video all done. I think that will help us just be much more, you know, responsive to
Rather than waiting 3 years.
waiting 3 years to see it change.
Yeah. Because I think the last PCI was done before you finished your Lakeshore addition.
It was, I mean,
along the
if
park
you
and
dig
everything
into
else.
it, they did, I mean, we gave them all the stuff that we were planning. So I think that there's like an anticipated PCI that might be in here somewhere if all that stuff was done, which we did. But yeah, it's be nice to, I mean, I don't know, I'm sure it's probably up in 60s, if not 70s now, because we did 20 miles last year.
Everything I videoed, it's at like 73 right now.
Okay.
And that would only be the public streets, not the privately maintained.
Well, I don't know if you talked about, I mean,
Streets out.
I mean, we could video them if we wanted to sort of capture that separately, but
Yeah.
you know, we have no responsibility over them. So most of them are dirt anyways, but
Why not? I second what you said. I on the report, yeah, I saw that the starting point was 38,
Mhm.
and we were aiming to get to 60 in a span of 15 years. So I think the city is doing a great job. But as we are like having progress every year, get to know like I don't know if it would be good to set a high bar or higher bar to see what are we intending to have in the following years.
I don't know that we can set that bar. I'm open to that discussion, but I think it's being done well. We're seeing it physically happening in front of us. The road's getting fixed, unless it's not your road, which at that point, that's a personal issue. And I get it because everybody wants to get the same thing everyone else is getting, but you can't do all roads at once. But I think that they've done a good job, and I would just say keep going.
Right.
Because if there was a problem, then we might want to say, hey, something's not meeting the expectation
Yeah.
of this, but they're actually going
No,
above,
you're
you know.
totally right. So then I would rephrase it. So if it's set to accomplish by 2030 a 60% of 60 rate of PCI, that's what it is.
PCI, yeah, pavement condition index.
Right.
Yeah.
So you get to see how would be the projections for the following years.
Gotcha. So you would like to advise the council to set a new goal since they've already reached this goal.
Yeah.
And I believe it would improve the city's overall PCI over the next 10 years, and we're hitting the 10-year anniversary here, from 38 to 60. And so maybe requesting the council to project for the next 10 years
yes.
again as to what could be utilized. I'm okay with that. Does that work for you guys?
Think anyone's pushing harder to do it than we are.
And I don't think you're at a standstill because you've met your goal, but getting an update again on this document would be good to know what the PCI currently is as a 10-year report, and then what the next goal, because the fact is you met your goal and maybe even exceeded your goal. But when you said 112 miles, you mentioned that's total public and private, right?
I misstated.
Yeah, that's public only, right?
Public only is like 114 miles.
Okay.
So like 80, what I had in my head, 80 is paved, at least as of 2022, and 33 are gravel or dirt.
Oh, so you already do have an update because this says 63 and 49 in here.
Yeah.
I think a 5-year would be better than a 10-year because after, 10 years is a long projected time, correct? Who knows who will be here in 10 years? And it kind of like, 5 years ago, I remember 5 years, it's more in the public's eye of seeing it more often.
As far as like a goal for
A
the
goal, yeah, like, they just made a 10-year plan. Okay,
let me tell you why that makes sense. Because they're only projecting to 2031 on road projects. And so I think that helps them to set an expectation of what their goal is based on their expectation of projects.
if they get to the end, let's say, and they're not even close, there needs to be a more of a medium, like, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna expect what, 90 by then? You know what I'm saying? Let's say in 5 years, let's say 75. You know what I'm saying? Let's give a number that we can show and the public sees that stuff is actually it's brought to their attention more. They like to see that this is getting done. They like 10 years down the road, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, what was that number? They're not even gonna remember where they were because some of these streets are gonna fall off in 10 years and need to be redone again already.
I mean, that is something that I'm sure the city is thinking about, and not necessarily up to us, but that money would be spent using Measure B. Is at what point does the Highlands Harbor area, for example, which was one of the first major projects that occurred in the city in 2018, 2017, at what point will that need to get the maintenance so that it doesn't degrade lower and lower?
Right, and we're not at 10 years yet.
And we're not, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So a 5-year, I think, would be a projection for 5 years would be better. That way they can, either push themselves or like, hey, look, we're meeting it. Let's just keep going.
Yeah. And I think it's all together the same. I think what we're requesting is for the city council to give us a 10-year report card on the changes that have occurred since the beginning of 2016 when this was approved, based on the details that are within, and also an update to their projection, since their 10-year projection was 60. And if they could revise that with a 5 and a 10-year projection, so that again, we can have goals be set for what Measure B should attain. And I think that's appropriate for us to come in front of the city council. Or advise the city council. Okay.
The other thing that just I wanted to reinforce is while Measure V is one part of what we're doing, a very important part of what we're doing. I mean, we've at least gotten as much money in other grants as we've spent from Measure V in the last 5 years. So, the impact that you're seeing is a lot more than just what Measure V is doing. I mean, all of Lakeshore, San Joaquin, that whole project, we spent Measure V money doing the design work, but the whatever that was, what was it, 5-6 million was all grant funded. Burns Valley Arrowhead Olympic that we'll be doing probably next spring if we don't have weather this year, all grant funded, and we've gotten a lot of grant money. So
In the report card will show that it was from different grants or those.
We could,
compare to Measure V, because Measure V is something completely different, even though we spent some of the Measure V money on the design processes for those roads.
Mhm.
So I get that the money's being spent for that stuff on Measure V, and that's what this is about, Measure V. So let's keep it, with Measure V. And then on that report card say, these are the other roads from other grants that we did too.
And I think what we'll do is we'll just make a request for a report card and the council can figure out the details. Our details are the budget, and I think we're fine because we're moving forward. But it would be nice to get that report card and just to set new goals because awesome. We had a goal and we've surpassed the goals, and that goal is obviously with the gas tax received, the Measure V received, and anything else received, because that's what it was before, except it was only $50,000 that we were putting on the roads, which is pretty pathetic.
it would come a long ways from shoveling cold mix out of an El Camino.
And rolling back on it and moving on to the next pothole.
I've seen them use the truck still to roll over the top of holes, believe me.
So my suggestion is, we have a resolution in front of us. It has now therefore be it resolved. I'd like to add, furthermore, be it resolved that the Measure V Oversight Committee of the City of Clear Lake advises the City Council of Clear Lake to compose a 10-year report card, including setting new 5 and 10-year goals. If that's appropriate, I'd like to get a motion for approval of that resolution as amended.
I make a motion that we get a report card for 10 years, a 5-year, and then another 10-year after that, projected.
So 5 and 10-year projections and an update on the report card.
Yes.
I do as well.
Second?
Yes, I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. You have your resolution. All right, last item is the project review for upcoming projects. Because I know it's not necessarily our business, but I feel somewhat responsible in the sense that in 2036, it's going to be a very important decision to make, and the more we have in data and information out there, the better off we are. I don't need what paper.
Hey, Matt, you can probably jump off if you want, unless anyone has any more finance questions.
Okay, thanks, Alan. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Matt.
Good one.
Sorry
Good
for all
job.
the emails I send you.
So this right, what you guys have in your hands is our proposed Measure V project. I believe it's a 7-year outlook.
No, I got it right here on my screen.
And it shows from year 2025 to 2031 what we propose. We initially brought this out last year, and this is what we still think we could do. There have been some setbacks, a little bit less of revenue. Equipment purchase will probably go away because what we have in equipment purchases, say a 3-year plan, like we bought an excavator 2 years ago. And so that is basically the payment on that. It's not like we're going to buy another piece of equipment. We bought several pieces of equipment that are used in the execution of Measure V work, masticating, ditch cleaning, the grader we bought, a chipper and such. And so that is some of the stuff that we have bought with Measure V money. And so going forward, we kind of just projected a little bit of the usage that we make usually the next 7 years or so. We show in 2025, Ramsey and Old Highway 53. Right now, that's kind of being held up. We have some archaeological work we need to finish up on that. We have a couple of projects in design right now also. I'm not sure if you guys want me to go through each year individually or not, or just kind of an overview.
I'd say go ahead and do the overview and then we'll figure out
Okay.
if there's questions at the end.
So in projecting the work that we wanted to, we kind of tried to spread the work out in different areas. So it doesn't, we make sure we hit different areas of the community and not just work in one area. I know it's hard to see if we're not paving in your neighborhood that we're really not doing anything with it. So we try to make our way around the city, and it's easier to spend the money. It's better spent on not just overall rehabilitation FDR projects, the surface treatments that are less costly, involve lighter maintenance, different surface treatments on there. And so we try to take that into account, and by grouping the streets into roads that are next to each other, it makes for a better cost. And so we try to capture these areas, and in these areas, we do try to capture all of the drainage improvements to protect our roads as we move along through these neighborhoods. So with that, does anybody have any questions?
You guys need some time to look at the list, or do you have any questions about what's on the list?
Nothing for the harbor. I
Um,
don't see it on here. I don't see any of those streets on here.
not for the harbor because they were one of the first ones, but in my opinion, going back, we didn't do a full reclamation on it, so the surface treatment costs would be a lot less. But we're trying to make our way through certain areas, and we'll touch back on those areas because the cost will be a lot less in the future. But as of now, we don't have the harbor in here.
Is it already having some cracks or anything?
The Harbor Lane, no.
Last I looked,
Island Harbor, there's some reflective cracking, but that was a microsurface. We didn't pave that road. We did a microsurface. Yeah.
gotcha.
We've definitely learned a lot since then.
Yeah, no, I remember.
That was our first
That was the
Missouri
first one.
project. Yeah.
We do have I guess we didn't put it in the packet this week. We do have a map that kind of shows.
So I do have a question while you're trying to load that up. So we started the meeting with kind of an explanation of the council has stated that they would like to focus on residents and doesn't necessarily specify that within the tax itself that was passed or the ordinance that was passed to put that on the ballot measure. But I see here that Olympic is on the list. It's not until 2031. Is that something that the council has already approved on their 5-year plan, that they will be using Measure V funds for Olympic from Lakeshore Drive to Highway 53?
It's kind of a moot point now.
Yeah, at the time that we had this adopted, this was not part of our grant funded road
Gotcha.
projects.
So 2031 will change.
That will definitely change.
Because
Yeah, that will
Yeah.
be changing right now.
it's gonna be done.
Okay.
Well, there's some money.
2029 is almost done being designed also.
The 2029 one?
Yeah, that was a easy
It's
one.
a very low hanging fruit.
Right.
This is the plan, and sometimes we get sort of unique funding opportunities or whatever, like Olympic is on there, but the actually Sulphur Fire project, we've been so fortunate on those because our bids, and it's because these are large projects, you get better bids, but we've continued to have to add additional projects into the grant because we have leftover money. Even with Burns Valley Arrowhead Olympic, or Burns Valley and Arrowhead, we had leftover money, so we added Olympic in. And the bids on that, we're still going to have over $3 million of extra money. And so we're hoping to use that to build the roundabout dam road. This was a smaller project that we could design quickly. We thought we could use some of the leftover Measure B funds for that so anyway, we sometimes shift priorities around within the work plan depending on the opportunities that we have and what funding source may be available.
And then just for clarity, when it says project year 2025, you mean fiscal year 25-26. So that when it says 2026, it's again fiscal year 26-27.
Not necessarily, because our construction season usually starts in the ending of a fiscal year, and so like.
We look at this really as construction season of that year. So, I mean, the 25 stuff isn't going to happen because we started design. I don't know what percentage we are, but we can't continue until our ecological work is completed.
So I do have another question about your 2025, and that the question is actually for the folks that are here in the public. I see here that you're doing Washington, Clarkson, Emerson, Jackson, Harrison, and it says green.
Yes,
What percentage of those are private? Because I thought
They're all-
Washington,
they're all public until you get north of Turner.
even Washington, I thought Washington was,
All the way to green,
Yes.
public south of Plymouth, and like lilac, brown,
Amber.
gray.
Gray is.
Yeah.
okay. So
Those are-
I'm just not recollecting my map of private public
I'm
correctly.
trying to find it.
Here, I can put it up there real quick.
I was sent on the wall.
Because I always thought in front of Cecil's in the theater that was completely private. And that's why we struggle to get their roads
So the
done.
green is public and the orange is private. I don't know if you
So-
can read the names.
Yeah.
Turner, and then these are all private.
Which makes sense.
We agree.
Well, especially since you got public right up here, then the only
Yeah,
way
you
to
have
access
some-
it is going on.
You have some, and it'll go public, private, and public, and again, doesn't seem right, but
Yeah.
that's the way it is.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're doing those roads. No offense to everybody else, but especially Washington. That's some commercial activity there. You want your theater to have easy access. No
For
road.
sure, a car flipped the other day right next to the movie theater in the pothole.
That's a rough drive
Yeah,
right
it was
there.
coming down the hill a little bit too fast and hit the pothole and flipped.
Well, we should all know better. But no, I appreciate seeing those on there just because I want our commercial. I would prefer seeing our commercial stuff having nice roads to bring in commerce, give you guys more money and Measure V money. And so everything else looks good.
What about, just a quick, that was that's the map that you guys are doing right now. Do you have the map up by, like, off of Davis and Pine and all that? I thought the map you sent me, some of that showed being, public roads, and that's a big, is that gonna get, I don't see it in here. And then during the Boyles fire, you couldn't access those roads, even if
Yeah,
they're
those
public
are-
roads, so why aren't they being maintained with the Measure B money? For safety reasons, obviously.
And you're talking about the paper parcels out there in the middle of nowhere between.
No,
18.
I'm talking about coming off of, like Moss, Pine, those streets up there.
That's the project.
And Meal and all of the.
Yeah, the one that goes back by the old wrecking yard and stuff like that. Some of those streets back there. Polk.
Polk and everything north of Davis is private, yeah.
So here's Davis. So there's this one little section, I guess, that's public, but the rest of it's private.
That's not the same,
It's,
the map.
this is like a GIS layer, this is not.
This is on our website.
Oh, I have, I'm pretty sure I got
I
some
have,
different map a while
Let
back.
me show you what but
I'm just curious because I think some of those roads that are safety reasons, obviously, we all know what happened during the Boyles fire.
Well, I mean,
And I know that I've emailed the city, and from what I understand, it is not necessarily policy, but the city looks into it. If a fire district or another emergency service provides feedback that something is inaccessible, they will go onto private roads and make sure that there is access.
it actually is a policy.
Okay, there's a policy.
So the police chief, the fire chief, or the postmaster can request maintenance if they believe that it's a safety hazard.
if you look,
Do
there's,
minimal maintenance.
so this is Davis right here, and here's those roads up there. That's what the map I sent you.
okay. And
So everything in red is private, And it's weird that it has this section over here that's
And
private.
one block up there in the middle of nowhere on Polk is city maintained.
Well, I don't know if it's.
I don't know if it's-
city maintained.
Well, it's
Yeah,
city-
it's considered public.
Well, it's confusing. I mean, so.
Yeah,
you
what
know,
do you think?
This happens when a section of land is subdivided essentially. So, if you were to overlay the city with all the subdivision maps that have happened since 1920, if you have 40 acres and you split it out into lots, when that gets subdivided, that's
Oh.
when the determination gets made on whether it's public or private. And so there's quite a patchwork.
Oh, believe me, on Pamela, when they put that high sewer line down there, the big sewer line, the county guy was there looking, going, I don't see this creek anywhere. Where's it at? And I said, well, before this house was here and this house was here, the guy that owned that house diverted it in front of his house, took it up behind all those houses
None of
and
that's-
put it on there. He's like, are you serious? I'm all, yeah. Been here 26 years.
Yeah,
Got
I
right
mean,
front of there.
we didn't used to have this map. I mean, when I first got here, this was a map hanging in Doug's office that had a different color highlighter. Didn't even
That's
have
the
all
map
streets
streets.
right there, so. We've
Upgraded.
What a survey happened.
So we're looking at the future projects through 2031. Are there any other questions before we move on? This is our last item. So I think that you've done good work. This is what we're asking from Measure V. And so appreciate the fact that we get to oversee this and making sure that this is what's going on. And you have a resolution to give back to the council saying that you're in compliance and with a little suggestion of what to do.
Thank you.
With that, any manager or board member reports?
I mean, the only thing I was thinking of when Addie was talking about equipment, the only thing that we're really looking at right now, equipment wise, is getting a street sweeper.
You still have a agreement with DNS Waste Solutions to do certain
We
number of
do,
miles?
it's, so the garbage company has been doing some street sweeping, but it's not really on a regular schedule. And we have a lot more paved miles than we did when that started, and I kind of feel like we need to grow up and do our own street sweeping a little bit. So
Well,
they don't do a very good job.
Were there signs put out like do not park on the street during these times and
Well,
these days?
the
And
way, yeah, I mean, most cities have a schedule, and
Yeah.
you know that it's gonna happen on Monday, so
Yeah.
you deal with it, right? That's one of the problems. They don't do any type of schedule now, so no one moves, and then you don't get as much impact, so
I totally understand.
Okay, good.
they're very expensive, several $100,000 for a new one, so we're looking at a few-year-old one, and hopefully we can get something going here pretty soon, so.
Maybe CNS Waste Solution has an old one that they'd rather give it to you.
It's card compliant.
Oh, gosh, that's even more difficult.
Mhm.
Anything else?
That's all I can think of.
All right. Any board member reports? Nope. I think we're good. Future agenda items. We'll meet again in a year. And I did have a question that was in
About
the
the audit.
meeting minutes. We had asked and requested for a special meeting to review the audit. I don't think we ever did that. And so is it an annual audit that you do?
Yeah, just like the county does.
So
I mean, not just to measure B, but it's also, I think, what we were going to do, which we probably didn't do, was to go ahead and just send the audit to the committee whenever it was completed. And then if you had questions that you wanted to have a meeting, we would have one. But I'm not sure if we actually sent it to you or not. So,
it's been a while since last October, so I don't remember.
I mean, I would recommend that we do the same thing. We could, Matt's not on here now, but we could send the audit out to you guys.
When's it actually happen in July or?
Well, it doesn't happen in July. I don't know when we completed the last one. I mean, the books don't close for at least 60 days after. June 30th because we have invoices coming in. and
Oh, so it should have been,
stuff like
it should have been recently then, right?
that. So, I mean, it's ideally it's around this time. Yeah.
So, yeah, please email us the audit. My suggestion to you, because this is a voter initiative, if it's possible to upload specifically the Measure V portion of it so that it's in a visible place. I know you have a Measure V area for your website. If it's possible to put audit so people can have a view of this is in compliance, here's all the heavy details and things.
Yeah, I mean, we put them all on our website, but I don't think we have anything on the Measure B page. So.
If it's possible. If the council approves. All right. Thank you guys for coming today, and hopefully you guys will get your word to the city council or have a conversation with Mr. Flora, and we can all get something better.